College Football Budge. List of hot takes. I like this guy, by the way. Does really good content. Talks about the MacGuffin. It's like this thing you know, who's the cup in college football, who's won every game dating back to the very first game in college football history.
The cup, the belt, what is it?
But yeah, something like that, right? And then you can
I think we discovered this together, actually.
Correct. On a drive to Oklahoma. He says in his hot take, BYU will miss a bowl game. Okay. Look, we've been very clear. Don't think Jake Retzlaff plays this fall. Why? There's a whole legal case going on. There's a civil case that's going to take possibly years to sift through. And it's very hard. Sean Oakman went through this. Mm-hmm. It's very hard, which we don't know what the result will be for Retzlaff, the same as Oakman's or not. Either way, challenging to see him play this fall. Does that mean BYU misses a bowl game? I just don't think quarterback is the most important position to a team like BYU. It wasn't last year. Even when Retzlaff was bad, everybody else was good enough for them to win. And some games, he was just bad, and they couldn't win. The Kansas game, terrible, like awful. And then a couple weeks later, against Colorado in a bowl game, awful. And we have, for me, Locked On Big 12, I have the Big 12 colored glasses on. I root for every quarterback to be good in the context of college football and against other teams and other conferences. But maybe that's why I thought Jake Retzlaff was a strong quarterback or an elite quarterback. Maybe he just wasn't all this time.
Yeah, the way I thought about this, because it did kind of change my tune when looking through this particular take to see how BYU would be this year. I don't think they're a conference contender. I don't, without Jake Retzlaff, but I don't think they're that bad because I'm thinking of it through the lens of like WAR in baseball, wins above replacement.
Sure.
Like Jake Retzlaff's WAR probably just wouldn't be too high. He's
about average, probably, yeah.
Because he feels like a replacement level quarterback in the context of the Power Four, right? He's better than Zion Chris, but he's not Josh Hoover. You know what I mean? Yes.
Oh, can I do something here?
Yes.
He is Gary Bohannon.
There you go.
He's Gary Bohannon. People
beat out Gary Bohannon last year, but yes.
Like Gary Bohannon has been in spots that have made Baylor look really good. Baylor went to the Sugar Bowl off the back of just a really clean Gary Bohannon season. He was sneaky good. No one talked about it. Ran the ball a little bit, threw the ball a little bit, but was player number 17 of the 22 starters for Baylor in that Sugar Bowl winning season.
He was like 13 for 23 in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah. Didn't play in the Big 12 title. I mean, his average game would be 196 passing yards, probably 13 for 18, no interceptions, maybe one touchdown pass. You'd go, well, Baylor won again because the defense had Terrell Bernard and Jalen Petrie. And that's kind of what BYU, who very familiar with Gary Bohannon, feels like.
Yeah, and there's a blueprint on how to win in this conference using the Gary Bohannon method and who they bring in here. But if I'm putting in a replacement level quarterback and I'm just looking through their schedule, Drake, I cannot find 5 losses here, let alone 7 losses. Yeah. Okay? Portland State, Stanford, they're playing at a place called Dowdy-Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, at East Carolina, at Colorado, West Virginia, at Arizona. Those are all wins with a replacement level quarterback in the defense that BYU brings back. Utah, it's a pretty good one.
It's a home game too. So I think
yes, they then have a stretch where they're at Iowa State, bye week at Texas Tech. Those are probably both losses the way we look at them right now. But everything else, TCU, that's a tough team. I think they're going to sneak up on some teams this year. That game's at home. At Cincinnati, okay. UCF, they're horrible. That's at home. Like they could win 9 games with a replacement level quarterback. And I've got a take here that says they're going to win no more than 5. That's just too fast. That's just saying, hey, they don't have Jake Retzlaff. That's not looking at the schedule. Like
every now and then I'll be sitting in the airport or just on the pot in the shower and just remind myself BYU has the easiest schedule maybe in Big 12 history.
Like, look at this, man. This is like UT's last year in the SEC.
It's embarrassingly easy. And if you're a BYU fan, you shouldn't be upset by that. Portland State, Stanford, at East Carolina part's hilarious. Just the going on the road there is really funny. And it's the most BYU thing ever to be like, hey, we should honor. The nicest thing that we could do is to honor this contract.
Look, they played at USF to open a season a couple of years ago. When we went week 2, Baylor at BYU, they had just played USF.
They probably scheduled this game 10 years ago when they were in the middle of independence and they were playing, a random schedules, completely random schedules. And so I respect you for playing at East Carolina. But look, I don't think Colorado, it's crazy that game's at 10:15 p.m. And the next week, West Virginia's at 10:30 p.m. It's just kind of, I'm not going to sleep.
Poor ever. West Virginia.
Poor me. The schedule for BYU, yes, it starts at.
Your Paul's going to have some dues that night.
Oh, yeah, 2 or 3, and then go live after the game. Portland State, Stanford, East Carolina. Colorado is not obviously not proven without 2 of the best players in college football, so I'm interested to see what they look like. West Virginia is a brand new head coach. Arizona's just bad.
Each of those 2 opponents, by the way, West Virginia and Arizona, each of them could finish in last place.
That's
realistic.
I have higher expectations for West Virginia. I could see them at 10. I think
they're both better than UCF.
I'm not as worried about the Utah game because it's in Provo. I believe BYU will do well there. And you're right. Iowa State, Texas Tech, TCU, tough stretch. That TCU game's at home, and then Cincinnati, UCF are both bottom tier of the conference going into this season. It's by virtue of their schedule, BYU should make the Big 12 championship game. We have gifted you. You have 2 games in there. We're asking you to win one of those 2 on the road or lose both of them and still probably make the Big 12 championship game.
Yeah. That's a realistic possibility. If those are the only 2 losses they have, they're probably in the game. And again, I mean, stuff happens. I think I don't think they'll go 10-2. We're looking at this now in June, but do you really think they could go 5-7 based off this? Like, think of how bad that offense has to be. Think how bad your quarterback play has to be.
Why won't they go 10-2?
Because these things happen, man. Like TCU lost to Houston last year, but they could have Josh Hoover go nuclear and throw for 420 at Lavelle Edwards and win it, 42-24.
Not a lot of 420 going on at Lavelle Edwards.
No, that would be the only one, I think. Yeah, I think. But just this conference, you can't accurately predict this conference, Drake. Try as we might for a couple more months here.
Yes, Arizona State, I had it going 3-9, I think, and they went and won the Big 12 title
after picking TCU 2-10 in 2022 preseason.
I also had TCU at 2-10, and they went to the national championship game. Everybody misses sometimes. Yeah, I always struggle with that analysis. I do it sometimes too in my midweek where I'm making predictions for, say, week 3. It's like, I think that Baylor will win this game. Why? I don't know. The Big 12. And it
is our job.
Yeah. But it's hard to back something up with. I don't really have a ton of just hard data on why I think this thing. But the Big 12's crazy. And at the same time, it's not really a cop-out. The Big 12 is just
it's like a Big 12 tax. Like, you got to throw this on here and be like, BYU could well go 10-2, but you've got to have like a game and a half tax.
Yeah.
Of like, these ones could go either way.
I think I had Baylor going like 5-7 last year, but beating TCU, and people were freaking out over, how that was out. Well, it's the Big 12. It's a rivalry. It's
and half of that was right.
And honestly, there at the beginning of the year, the first half of the Utah game, I thought Baylor was going to be the most ass football team to ever grace the planet. That first quarter of just Cam Rising, 21-0 immediately. Was it? It was the Miss PAT, It was so like I was in Des Moines, Iowa, in a press box at a minor league stadium, watching the game on the TV, just thinking, oh my gosh, this is the worst college football team I've maybe seen in my life. This is Phil Steele era of Baylor, and obviously they turned it around. Do you remember what were you thinking 7 minutes into the Utah game that day? What were your thoughts in your brain? Remember that day?
Yes, I broke a pen by accident, slamming it down on a table, taking my notes on the game. It looked like Dave Aranda might not make the flight home. Like, here we go again. Like,
I tweeted 9 times. I tweeted fire Dave Aranda in the span of probably 30 minutes.
Watching DeQuan Finn in that game was not unlike watching Cam Newton as a New England Patriot. You're like, this is not it. Like, the ball's just not going to get there. He's going to be fading away, throwing every pass. They're not going to score 14 points in a game this year. It was pretty bleak.
R.I.P. DeQuan Finn. Got the Jimbo Fisher treatment. We're just going to pay you to
scored against Texas Tech.
We're going to pay you to do nothing. We're going to pay you to just not be on the field for us, please.
DQ, why don't you take a load off?
Yeah. All right, it's Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. This has been and always will be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day across the board with Baylor and the Dose Grande.